Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Debbie Watts and you are watching Aricula Card Art. Today we are into Cardio Christmas and we will be making these fabulous Snowmen Christmas cards just with some simple Distress Oxide Ink blending, some stamping, and you can see I've got some masking as well. So a couple of techniques here, but each individually are very simple, and when you bring them together you have a fabulous card. And by changing some of the detail you get a completely different look. So simple and multiple designs. So of course you don't need the Cardio stamp sets that I'm using today. Have a look through your stash, see what else you can find. But the Cardio stamps are super easy to use and so versatile that you find that they are your go-to stamps time and time again. So let's just run through the materials that you need today. The first item you'll need, of course, is a blank white scored base card. I've got a 300 GSM. It's 14.5 by 14.5 centimeters and a matching white envelope. The stamp sets I'm using today are Cardio, and this one is Christmas Companions. On here you have a great snowman and lots of wonderful wildlife creatures, birds, a handbag, some rabbits and squirrels. So again, you can use the same stamp set and create multiple designs from using these stamps. To complement that, I'm also going to use the Cardio branching out, and again various stamps on this one, so they are really good value for money. Different size branches, and I'm going to be using these ones today, I think. But there's no reason why you can't mix and match. I'm going to be using the VersaFine Onyx Black, and the reason why I use this is because it really does pick out the detail of the stamps, and it is a really good stamping ink. I've got the obligatory acrylic blocks, various sizes, because the stamps are multiple sizes. And I've just got a mixture of Distress Oxide Inks, various colours, same families. So this is what I'll be using to create the background. So let's just grab a card, and I'll be using to blend the horizon. As you can see, start quite strong and then fade it out. So these colours, pick and choose whatever you've got in your ink sets. Couple of sponges for blending. I tend to obviously use Distress Oxide sponges with only Distress Oxide and not the Distress Ink sponges. So just make sure you have a sponge set for your ink set, okay? And it's easy to just keep colour families going, so you can use that for your reds, your purples, your yellows, etc. Glue. This is clear drying glue and some white glitter to create some snow. So the other thing we're going to be doing today is to mask off areas. So on here you'll see I've got the horizons. This one I've torn, okay, to give it a jagged look. And this one I simply cut to make it a smoother look. Entirely up to you. And the product I used is this masking paper, which comes on a roll. I think this roll has about 25 meters on, so it should last for a long time. And as you can see, it tears quite easily, sticks to the paper to create the mask, and easy peels. So you can actually use this time and time again So as opposed to just once and throw it away. And the good thing is you can stamp onto this an image and then cut around the image, and then you can mask the image. So we will do that today, of course, to create the snowman, and I'll show you how to do that. The other product I've got are these fabulous Sweet Poppy stencils, watercolour fine brush pens, and I'm using these just to create these accent colours here. So I think that's pretty much everything we will need, and you probably will need, because we are blending inks, a couple of pieces of tissue paper and a cloth. Always make sure your surface is dry, because otherwise you are going to be getting ink splotches on the backs of your card. The first thing is to take your card and make sure obviously opens the right way. How many times have I stamped a card upside down and realised that obviously the fold is going the wrong way? Easily recoverable, just guillotine off your card, and you can then mat and layer that image to a different card base. But obviously if you're sticking to the under 15 centimetres to match your envelope, you just might have to trim a little bit of all the edges off. Okay, so just check the fold. This piece of paper I am going to be just folding, not quite in half, but leave, I don't know, 1 or 2 centimetres. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to make almost like a jacket. Okay, and that way the back of the card is going to be protected from your working mat, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this isn't going to get contaminated with splotches of ink. Hopefully, I say. So let's just move this to one side, and we want to prepare a mask. So with my adhesive paper, I'm just going to stick that to my craft pack so it's really nice and firm. I'm going to take the Snowmen from the Cardio Christmas Companion set and affix it to my acrylic block. Nice and firm. And to take the VersaFine black ink, make sure you've got some good coverage on your stamp, and then on this I'm just going to stamp the image. Just some firm pressure evenly over the stamp. You don't have to rock the block, and then you get that beautiful image. Just want to leave that to dry for a second before we move on to the next stage. So decide really whether you want a smooth horizon or a jagged. If you want the jagged, you simply take your masking paper and literally tear. No right or wrong. You just want to create a good line. Okay? And looks like some mountains really in the background. If you wanted to have a smoother finish, you simply cut your hillside. Okay? So as you can see, you can have the jagged, or you could go with a smooth. So I think on this one we will use the smooth, okay, to create this card. So this image is putting the snowman behind the hill, whereas in this one the snowman is in front of the hill. And I'll show you how to do both. So we're going to take the snowman and just literally cut almost like a silhouette. If you make sure that you cut on the line, you don't need his arms, so don't worry about having to fussy cut around those. And also his nose. Hold the scissors still and move the paper. It's so much easier when you're cutting out shapes. Don't have to be perfect with the snowballs. And there you go. And the good thing about this paper is you can actually use the masks time and time again. So for this card we're going to put the snowman behind the hill. Okay, and I'll quickly show you how to do that. So first of all, you want to decide where you want the hill, how much snow, if you like, you want on the base. And you place your masking paper onto your folded card. And then what you would do is you ink up your snowman. And you actually stamp onto your hillside. So we want to show some of the body and just some of the snowball. Okay. So what we're then going to do is take the mask that you cut out, leave the hill line in place, and just affix the mask over the snowman. Okay, so leaving his arms exposed, but everything else is covered. And then you are going to get that perfect white snowman. So to create the horizon, we're just going to gently blend some inks onto the horizon. So I'm starting with white persimmon. Take off the excess onto your craft area, because you can always add ink, you can't take it away. So I always tend to build up the colour. And creating this jacket, I'm going to, whoops, wrong way, just protect the back of the card from the dirty working area of your craft mat. And then I'm going to, it's quite solid colour actually, I'm going to blend in the colour. Don't worry about going over your mask of your snowman, because obviously you can use these time and time again, and that isn't your actual snowman image. So don't think, oh my god, I've got an orange snowman, because the mask is protecting your area. And I'll just very quickly show you the good thing about this masking paper is you can actually lift off and see where you've been, and then affix it and smooth it back down. But I'm going to do some spiced marmalade again. This is just really, it's almost like a sunset, I think, but I hope that's what I'm going to create. And you can see that I'm just starting to blend the colours from dark to light. Okay. Don't worry about getting on your mask. You can reuse it. And again, it's just protecting your base card. So I'm going to bring in some yellow. So I've gone for squeezed lemonade. Again, take off the excess, and then I'm introducing the yellow. So hopefully we're going to get a really beautiful skyline. And let's call it the Christmas sunset. So I'm going to take the purple, not too heavily, excuse me. I'm just going to create almost like the top of the skyline where it's just starting to go dark. I didn't add the ink because I'm actually using my sponge from the previous card, so I think it's got enough ink on it. But if you do, dab very lightly, take off the excess, and as you can see, there's hardly any ink on this at all. So you just want to brush it across, and then we're going to do the grand reveal. Just make sure the lids are on the tops of your inks. 1, to stop them drying up, and 2, to stop your elbows. Okay, dirty fingers, take your tissue, just make sure your fingers are nice and clean. Move your work away and just clean your surface. But don't forget, you have got this card protecting the back of your card. So let's just gently peel and reveal. So it's beautiful skyline there and a perfectly white snowman. How effective is that? That's just great, isn't it? Don't forget to clean your ink, your stamps as you go with ink, and then they're ready to go nice and clean for next time. These are polymer, so you can easily wash them with warm soapy water and just pat them dry with tissue, and they're good to go next time. So with this card, you've created your snowman. You've got that gorgeous snow hill, if you like, and the snowman's behind the hill. So what we want to do now is put some wildlife animals around the base of the snowman. So I'm using some smaller acrylic blocks here, and these really just kind of fit to the size of your stamp. It is best to actually try to size the block to the stamp. That way you haven't got too much surface, you've got more control of your acrylic block, better grip and less rock. Okay, so I think we're going to put some little baby lambs down the bottom. So taking your VersaFine, make sure they're inked up, and as you can see I've just caught the edge of the block. So with your tissue, just wipe that clean and decide whereabouts you want the images. Press firm, and it's a lovely clean stamp. Do the same with the second lamb. Just make sure, and the reason I clean that is so it's not going to go to your fingers. And put the second lamb. And there you go, you can see how quickly this card is really starting to take shape. Always put your stamps back onto the storage film that they come on, because I don't know how many times I've put a stamp down, lost it, and because they're clear, they're so easy to get stuck to the bottom of an ink pad and then lost forever, or they turn up in the most strangest of places. So we're now going to just create the foliage on the card. Okay, for this one we're going to do the bended tree. So from the branching out stamp set on Cardio, we're going to take the biggest of the branches, affix it to your acrylic block, take your VersaFine ink pad, ink up and stamp away. And what we want to do is stamp, but I'm going to then second generation stamp, and it creates then the depth of the branches, and you just repeat that until you're happy with your image. So I'm slightly going to turn, as opposed to doing it all in the same way, going to slightly turn the stamp so you can see it starting to come round quite nicely. Okay. Probably one more. Okay. Okay, actually I think I'm probably going to be doing some on there. Doesn't that look great? If you wanted to do more stamping down here, then what you simply do is put your mask back on. So you fit your hill line mask back on, you ink up your stamp pad, and then you stamp, okay? So that when you remove it, you can see that you've brought the tree line, and you can do that as many times as you like. On this stamp set there is a small handbag. I don't know whether you can see that on there, so I'm just going to give it a handbag hanging over the arm. You can see that I've used a smaller block. There you go. Now that we've created these trees, what I'm going to do is just use the tiny bird stamp that comes in this set, and just pop a few of these lovely little creatures on the branches. And I think what I'm actually going to do is pop a bird on the tip of his finger. So that truly is a winter scene. Using some colour markers, I'm just going to add some colour accent to the areas of these cards. It's looking really great. Adding the final touches now to this card, we want to put a sentiment in the top corner, and I'm putting a simple Merry Christmas. And what we want to do here is we want to create the effects of snow. So I'm going to get some clear drying glue and just create almost like snow divots, following the horizon line because we want some snow there, and just work around the stamps. And this is the reason why you put the images on first and then add the snow, because if you put the snow on first you wouldn't get the flat image, sorry, you wouldn't get the flat surface to stamp on. And I think let's put some touches here, and I'm just going to glue some of the branches because I think it would be really nice if they had like a frosty look. Your white glitter, and you can use the piece of paper that you use to protect the back of your card. As you can see, it's ink free. And take your glitter and just want to sprinkle over the areas that you've put the glue. And then tap off the surplus. And there's your card. So you can see it's got the frosty look for the winter's day. Now, there'll be a lot of surplus glitter on here, so what you need to do is just let that dry properly, and then with a fine brush you just brush off the surplus glitter. And there you go. So that's a really simple, easy card, and you can create uniquely by changing the colour of the horizon, changing the colour of the scarf, and changing the sentiment, and you can even change the angle of the foliage. So don't forget, the final thing is to just put your special Christmas verse on the inside. I almost forgot, but it might be nice to decorate the envelope. So just take the snowman or the main image that you're using on the front of your card, ink him up, make sure you've got the bottom corner, and just lightly press the image. And what you can do is take your colour markers and just add your colour. And don't forget to colour coordinate the scarf, and there you have a truly unique and individual Christmas card. One that you can make time and time again, changing the slightest little detail to make it unique. So here we go. A beautiful Christmas card. So remember, I did a different design whereby the snowman stood in front of the hill. I'll quickly show you how to do that. So ink your snowman on your blank scorecard and stamp your image. You then place your mask, and I'm using the Rocky Mountains. You place that over your snowman. And you take your snowman mask as well, and you cover your image, and then using your blending sponges, exactly the same technique to create the horizon. Just going to go a bit darker for this one. And some yellow. And then finish with the purple. Just spend some time blending the inks together so that you don't actually create separate colours, and blend in. So then in the reveal, you peel off your mask, and there you have your snowman standing in front of the hill. Taking your colours, add the colour accents. Put your mask back onto your work. Take your foliage and just create a side border. What I'm going to do on this one is just stamp in this area. Remove the mask, and there you go. You have your snowman stood in front of the hill. With your glue, follow that hill line. Almost forgot, we need to just pop one of the animals there. And then we can glue the remainder ready for the glitter. Again, just put some frosting in the trees, so small dabs of glue. Don't forget, put your glue top on. Take your glitter, tap off the excess, Don't forget to add your sentiment. And there you go. So a very different card, same techniques, and you can see the sparkling for the frost on the trees. Once again, when the glue is dry, just dust that off. And what you will find is that your animals will actually come back to black once that dusting of glitter has been removed. So thank you very much for watching my video. I hope that I will see you again soon. And don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and come back for more tutorials in the future. And all I can say from me to you is happy crafting. Thanks then. Goodbye.